Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Seth with SethPerler.com. And generally speaking, I make videos, YouTube videos for parents and teachers. But today, parents and teachers who are watching and other professionals, I am making this specifically for principals. So, parents and teachers who are watching this, I don't know how many principals follow my blog, but we have 10,000 people following the blog in general. And I know there are some principals, but you may want to forward this to your principals if you are experiencing the problem I am about to describe. So, from here on out, I'm going to be speaking generally to principals or other people who can do something about this problem. So, hello, principals. My name is Seth Perler. I am an executive function coach based out of Boulder, Colorado. And what I do is I help struggling students figure out how to navigate school. And there is a massive problem that happens over and over and over for parents and students. It causes consistent frustration. It causes tons of confusion. And this is a problem that you principals can do something about because you have chosen, and thank you for choosing this, you have chosen a leadership position. You get to lead your school community. And so I'm going to talk about the problem and what I think you can do about it. So the problem is a lack of clarity regarding the expectations for the students. And what this means is that parents and students, and myself included, and other professionals who are working with these kids don't understand the expectations, don't understand what students are supposed to be doing. So basically, what happens is that we are going to the websites, and sometimes we are going to multiple websites. We might be going to Google Classroom. We might be going to Schoology. We might be going to Infinite Campus. Sometimes teachers have their own websites. And we are trying to sift through this mass, especially when it comes to middle and high schoolers, when they might have 7 different classes. They might have 3 or 4 different websites that they're supposed to go. So you might have one teacher where you're supposed to go to Infinite Campus to check the grades, Schoology to check the grade details, and the teacher's website to see a PowerPoint or something like this. Anyhow, we are trying to sift through this massive technology in order to get clarity. Again, the problem I'm referring to, principals, is clarity. We are trying to find clarity regarding what is expected of the student. What is their work? What are they supposed to be reading? What are they supposed to be doing? How do we find this stuff? So it is hard even for me, and I've been doing this for years, and I've seen tons of students from tons of different schools. I have my own system where I keep all the passwords for all the different students that I work for, and I still struggle to go to get the information I need. So I want to talk a little bit about this problem in terms of the consequences that this is causing everybody, principals. So first consequence is that parents and students are unclear about what's going on. What are the expectations for homework, for reading assignments, for written assignments, for projects? What are the expectations? That's the number one consequence. Another consequence is that people are not sure where to log in. What's the URL? Where is this place? There's so much to pay attention to. People cannot even figure out where to start. Next, you wouldn't believe how many families that I work with that they don't even know. Sometimes they'll find out midway through the year that the site even exists and that they're even supposed to be checking it. So that's another one. Where do we even log in? Next is, how do we log in? What's the username? What's the password? How is there anything special going on with how to get logged into this particular system? The next thing is when to log in. Does the teacher expect you might have a teacher in one class that expects the student to be checking it daily. You might have another teacher who expects it weekly. When are they supposed to log into these different things? The next, when they get logged in, where are they supposed to look? Sometimes this stuff is overwhelming. Sometimes it's really difficult to sift. Sometimes they have to click through a bunch of different pages to find the information. The next one is that this is a logistical nightmare. It takes a lot of time and energy for people to figure out what they need to be doing. And that energy, I want my students to be spending their energy doing their work that contributes to their life and that contributes to their learning. So that's the next one, is it takes a lot of time and energy. It's a logistical nightmare. I want them focused on what they should be doing rather than looking for what they should be doing. The next one, number 7, is this is a consequence for people, is that they don't check the site at the right time. So sometimes if they're not, and I alluded to this earlier, but if they're not checking it at the right time, then they don't know what the due dates are or what time things are supposed to be turned in. And the next one is that students who aren't good with planners and who aren't good with remembering the details, they're not checking it, or they don't remember to check it. Another problem that occurs is teachers. It causes a lot of extra energy expenditure for teachers when the students don't know what's going on and they're asking for extra copies, for example. Sometimes I'll look in a backpack and I might find 3 or 4 copies of the exact same assignment. And I'm like, why do you have all these copies of the same thing? They're like, oh, because I lost it, or I thought I lost it, or I didn't know where it is. So I asked my teacher for another copy. So that means that the teacher has to be making extra copies, handing out extra copies, having the conversation about the extra copies. It's just, again, a lot of extra energy expenditure. And then number 10, the 10th consequence of this stuff is that kids have more missing zeros, incompletes, and late work, which leads to number 11, which is lower grades, which leads to number 12, that there is less learning. And oftentimes these zeros just remain zeros. So the learning or the learning experience never took place. They've moved on to the next thing. So that's another consequence. 13th consequence is that there can be a lot of shame where a student feels like, why am I such an idiot? Or parents are like, where is this? What's going on? Or the student might feel dumb or stupid, like, why can't I figure this out? Why don't I know? Or maybe the teacher's like, well, I explained it to you already. Why aren't you checking this? And so there can be shame associated with this. Next consequence is that parents are just baffled. They do not know what to do or where to look. And finally, number 15 is the consequence that I have listed here, is that kids are confused and overwhelmed. They cannot manage these details. It is a lot of juggling. They really legitimately do need time to have a life, to enjoy themselves. They need time to focus on their schoolwork, but they also need time to be doing other stuff, and they're spending so much time on this, and they're just overwhelmed with trying to figure out the details. Now, principals, you are in a very unique position because you have chosen a position of leadership. So you can affect great change in this area. And the reason I'm making this video, it is one of the biggest solvable problems that I see repeated over and over and over. And it's something that we can do something about. So that's why I'm making this video for you. So here's what you can do. Since you do lead, you do have the opportunity to help all these people. So what you can do is you can create a page on your school website, or you can make a document. If you can't create an actual page on the site, because you're not technologically savvy or you don't have access to that or whatever, you can make a document that's accessible to the community, that's a PDF or that's in the lobby or somehow that's accessible. On that document, the information that we need, that I need, that my students need, that the parents need, the information we need, you can add to this document. Here's what we need from you. We need you to first list every website that anybody at the school might need to check. So if you know that teachers in your school use personal websites, Schoology, Google Classroom, textbook websites for certain textbooks, and Infinite Campus, let's say, then list those 5 websites and say, sorry for the confusion, but here are all the sites that you may need to be using, and then have a URL link to those sites. And so that's the first thing we want to know, is we want to know what are all the possibilities, okay? Just give it to us in one place so that we don't have to be confused and looking. Number 2, list where and how to get the login info. So if people are like, well, I don't know where to log in, should they be emailing a tech person at your school? Should they be asking the teacher? Were they given a sheet of paper with login information? Should they be clicking lost and reset the password on the site itself? Tell us where to go to get the login information. Tell us how to log in. Again, so there's clarity, so we are not confused, so we know what to do. Next, list every single teacher in the entire school. And next, obviously, you want to list the sites that the students are responsible for that teacher with the URL. So if in one particular, like I have one student right now, for one teacher, they have to go to, this is true, they have to go to IC for their grades, Schoology for certain things, Google Classroom for certain things, and the teacher's personal website for certain things. So it would be nice if we had those all listed so that we could find that information easily. The next thing is list what they should do at the site. So for example, if they're supposed to go to Schoology, then click on this, then click on this to find this, then click on this to print this. And then click on such and such to submit things, whatever. Like, tell us what we're supposed to do so we are not confused. The next thing is list how often they should check it, specifically when to check it. Should they be checking the teacher site every Friday, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, every day, 5 days a week, Sunday nights only? When do you want us to check it? We don't know. It's overwhelming. It's too much to be checking all of them, and things are missed. There's just a lot going on. This is just a problem that we have nowadays. A part of the curse of technology. There are some good blessings and curses with this stuff. The next thing to do is list how often the teachers update their grades, because this is a huge problem too. Teachers, you got some teachers that'll wait until like a month and a half into the semester. They haven't listed anything. The kid has no grades on the online grade portal, and then another teacher has 50 grades in their portal, and then it looks like the kid's doing fine, and then all of a sudden, boom, you see that 20 things are missing. They have an F in this class. It's very confusing. Can you please tell us when your teachers, each teacher, puts up their grades so that we know and we don't have to be wondering and we don't have to be blindsided? The next thing that we would like is if you could teach teachers how to be crystal clear online. And this may sound like a lot of work, but trust me, it will save everybody a lot of frustration. A lot of teachers, when they post stuff, like they might say, do the math assignment from this week. And I, as a coach, don't know where to go to get that. Is that something that's in their book? Is it something that's been printed and handed to them and it's a photocopy? Is it something we're supposed to download or find online? What are you talking about? So please teach your teachers how to be crystal clear online with the expectation. If teachers would take another minute to just write, I handed you a rubric, look in your folder, it says this on the top, this is due on this date. Please teach them how to be clear, because there's so much confusion and ambiguity. When I finally do find the information we're looking for, we don't have enough details to know what to do with that. So please teach them how to be crystal clear. I don't think that teachers know how hard it is for people. I don't even know that principals know how hard this is for families. Unless you guys have adolescents yourself and you principals are trying to figure out what's going on with their school, it's very possible that you don't even know how big of a problem this is. But from my end of it, when I'm working with multiple students from multiple schools, I see that this is a consistent solvable problem across the board. The next thing you can do is have copies of the notes from the class or the homework so that the kids can download it, or the rubrics, etc., online so that they can print it or download it or view it, okay? This obviously would cut down on teachers having to give out multiple copies too, but it also would give people crystal clarity on what the notes are, or the homework, or the rubrics, or what have you. Next thing that I think would be helpful is if there was a note to parents at the top of the site, at the top of the webpage, that says, if you are not crystal clear on the expectations, please email me, the principal, here, and then click your email address so that we can figure out how to clarify systems. That way you will know exactly, you as the principal will know exactly where the confusion is coming in, and you will know how you can support the teacher to communicate what needs to be communicated. It will help everybody. So that will help you. And you could also have them email the teacher for that clarification or whatever you wanted to do. But if there was some way that said, hey parents, look, we need to know if you're unclear. We want to make these systems for you. We are trying to educate your child. We are trying to support your children. We care. Please let us know so that we can figure out how to make the system. And I know it might seem like a lot of work, but again, I think this will save everybody so much time and confusion and frustration. Now, Finally, principals, what will be the effect if we can do this? If we can solve this one very solvable problem, what's gonna happen? Well, first of all, people are gonna have clarity regarding the expectations. Second of all, you're going to eliminate confusion with parents and students. Next, people are going to spending less time and energy, or the teachers are going to be spending less time and energy repeating their expectations over and over, making extra copies, dealing with extra communication over and over, something that they already said. It will be there, it will be clear. We will bypass miscommunication. We will eliminate ambiguity. There won't be any excuse for anyone to not know what's expected because it's clear. The clarity is there. There will be better grades. There will be better learning, which is the most important thing. People feeling better about themselves and feeling like they're learning and they're able to be successful in the thing that they're trying to learn. Tutors and parents can better support the students because they know exactly what's going on and where to find the information they need. Less time will be wasted by anybody trying to locate the expectations, and essentially a happier everyone. Now, of course, what I'm describing now isn't going to help in every situation. There are going to be people who don't have access to technology, people who aren't great with tech anyway. It doesn't address kids who have attentional or processing issues or trauma or any other number of issues that complicate doing homework or those types of things. But it does solve one of the biggest problems that I deal with week in and week out with these students. So anyhow, that's all I have to say. If you look on my website, Perler.com, I will have a PDF printout for you that you, the principal, or whoever you are watching this, you can take this information and hopefully create a site or a document, and I'll give you the tips that I think should be included. Obviously, use this any way you want. And finally, for you principals out there, I don't know if I've ever made a video for principals before, but I do want to say thank you for leading. We need you. We need your leadership. We depend on you. I know that you guys have big shoes to fill. You guys are doing a lot, and we appreciate you and all the time and effort and love and kindness and compassion and thoughtfulness and everything that you put into your job, into your work, into what we don't see, everything that you do behind the scenes that we are not aware of that helps make a school run smoothly and help serve these students so that they can get the education that they need so that they can have a great future. So thank you very much, principals. Again, my name is Seth at SethPerler.com. If you haven't yet subscribed on my website, you can go to the website. I send out a weekly update. You can smash a like button on YouTube if you're watching me there, and subscribe on YouTube. You can get alerts if you want. And I appreciate you. Have a fantastic day. Take care now.